Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the original Loretta Brown Show radio to open the heart, heal the soul, awaken the consciousness. Good morning, Mr. Benny Mather.
Hello there. How are you? Happy Thursday.
What about those Seahawks?
Oh, man, they're looking strong, powerful, as if. My goodness, I can't get enough of them. They're going to the Super Bowl.
I know.
I might have, done something here in the studio to make it a little bit more vibrant.
Well, I
just a little bit. I'm kind of a fan. No, we wish them good luck. The Super Bowl, if you guys don't know, it's on February 8th in San Francisco. That's where the location will be. And they're going to be playing the New England Patriots, which will actually be a repeat bowl matchup from 2013-2014 season. It was the one we lost by this much.
I actually remember that. I was like, oh, that's when that was.
Yeah, it's a sore day and bowl game for some of us, but hopefully we can get it back.
Well, I mean, it was a good game.
Oh, for sure.
The game before that was like kind of a slaughter,
Yeah, well, we needed that too. I mean, we had a little bit of a rest, and we're on to bigger and better things. I mean, we're going to the dance. It's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, we are. So anyway, go Hawks.
That's right.
And, people did ask me, and yes, I did send Reiki. And so that's not cheating. It's just Reiki.
It is not cheating. We don't do that around here.
Yeah, somebody asked me if that was cheating. No, it's not at all. We can send goodness and love and beautiful energy to people anytime that we want to, stay in your high integrity.
Absolutely.
That sort of a thing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. And let's see, I gotta introduce myself briefly. I'm the owner of Reiki Oasis. We've been here for about 30 years, and you can find out more about me at ReikiOasis.com. I do have, believe it or not, a gong bath. I know, Benny, a gong bath is coming Saturday.
Did you say gong?
I was waiting for that.
You ain't got to wait. It's right here.
Makes me happy. This really makes me happy. Thank you. Yeah, I've been studying with this lovely man from Spain, and I got to tell you, I'm learning a lot more about sound healing, which is right up my alley. As they say, I love sound and music and all that kind of stuff. But if you've been feeling a little bit off, if you need to get recentered, you need some things shook out a little bit, come on over. I have 2 places left. That's it. It will be in person at Reiki Oasis in Bellevue, Washington. And it will be at 10 a.m. on Saturday, January 31st. Right. So please come on down. And then, yes, we're going to Egypt again. It's going to be October 4th through the 19th. More information coming. If you're interested in that trip, email me right away, because the trips do fill up. And then I want to get into astrology and kind of set the stage. I'm so excited for my guest today because he is such a dear soul. And yeah. I can't wait for him to come on. So Daniel's just hanging around in the green room while I talk to you guys about astrology. So today, wow, I'm just going to say this. If you thought that you felt a little strange this week, you're not imagining it. We are in one of the most electrically charged astrological moments we've experienced in years and possibly in decades. Right now, Pluto is in Aquarius. The sun is in Aquarius. Mercury is in Aquarius. Mars is in Aquarius. Venus is in Aquarius. Vesta is in Aquarius. I know, the dawning of the age of Aquarius. And today the moon is moving through Gemini. So what does that mean? Aquarius is an air sign. Air. And Gemini is an air sign. That means every personal planet is in an air sign. It's a recipe for a cosmic lightning strike. Sorry, Dannion. To the nervous system, the mind, and the collective psyche. This is not emotional processing time. This is initiation time. Aquarius rules higher mind, awakening, innovation, truth-telling, and the future of humanity itself. When this much Aquarius energy is present, life doesn't whisper, it downloads. Many people are feeling mentally overstimulated, restless, or wired suddenly clear about things that used to confuse them, those brilliant aha moments, or aware that something simply cannot continue the way it has been. So many people are telling me that, like, this cannot keep on like this. And I'm like, you're right, it can't. This stellium is guiding us to think outside the box, to trust intuitive insights, even if they feel strange, to pay attention to epiphanies and sudden realizations, to expand perspective rather than react emotionally. And mental stimulation is extreme right now. So watch your inner narrative. I had a teacher one time said, Loretta, the mind is like a wild horse. It runs all over the place, right? And yeah, that's about right. And then we're getting ready for the year, the fire horse. So boy, there's going to be a lot of that. So my advice, pause before you speak and choose curiosity over certainty. We don't know everything, right? And anything built without authentic alignment is starting to crack right now, personally and collectively. We're already seeing it: breakups, job changes, relocations, sudden plot twists, perspective shifts. This is not punishment, it's course correction. And as we all know, change can sometimes be a little uncomfortable, but we are being actively steered toward a new world, toward the authenticity. And you also get to take a look at what it is that needs to leave, what cannot go forward with you. We also had a historic shift a couple of days ago on January 26th. Neptune officially re-entered Aries. Neptune in Aries, where it's going to remain with brief retrogrades until 2039. This is the first time Neptune has been in Aries since the early 1700s. Neptune dissolves illusion, and Aries ignites identity. And together, it begins a 14-year rewriting of spiritual identity, courage, leadership, and what it means to say, I am. We're moving out of a long Piscean era of spiritual overwhelm, confusion, savior dynamics, and blurred boundaries. Spirituality is no longer something we talk about, it's something we live. So it's the rise of the spiritual warrior, not in aggression, but in embodied truth, maybe the spiritual light worker. People are being called to lead from inner alignment, not external authority. We're having to question everything right now, aren't we? Act on compassion, not just feel it, and stop outsourcing meaning, morality, or destiny. It's not about belief systems anymore. It's about who you are when no one is telling you who to be. On January 27th, we had a Mars-Pluto conjunction in Aquarius, which was very intense, transformative energy. This is talking about ethical leadership and why it really matters right now. And today we have a Mercury-Venus conjunction, Mercury-Venus, offering a softer window, a bridge between the mind and the heart. So this is an excellent day for meaningful conversations, reconciliation, truth spoken with grace, values-based clarity, especially financially or relationally. And on Sunday, we're going to start February with a great big beautiful full moon in Leo, which is asking us to open our heart. Where have you dimmed your light? Where are you ready to lead with courage and love? When people say lead with love and not fear, it's not airy-fairy. It really takes a lot to do that. And Leo reminds us that leadership doesn't begin with power. It begins with the heart. With all this stuff going on in the world, it brings me a beautiful platform for my wonderful guest today, a man who has seen possible futures, who reminds us again and again that compassion is the deciding force. And with Neptune now activating spiritual courage, Aquarius calling us into collective responsibility, we're left with a very profound question. Is the future something that happens to us or something we are actively creating? So my guest today is amazing, the one, the only, the walking dead himself, Dannion Brinkley, the man with 1,000 wonderful lives, has been given a rare vantage point on that very question. Dannion Brinkley is a New York Times bestselling author, a near-death experiencer, and I think he's actually been dead. And he's a spiritual teacher whose life was forever changed after being struck by lightning in 1975 and declared clinically dead for 28 minutes. It's amazing. Through multiple near-death experiences, not just one, he'll tell us, Dannion received profound visions about life, death, compassion, humanity's future. He's the author of Saved by the Light, At Peace in the Light, and Secrets of the Light. He's co-founder of the Twilight Brigade, a nonprofit training hospice volunteers to serve dying veterans. Dannion, it is such an honor and a delight for me to have you here. Thank you for coming to my
great,
show.
Loretta. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I am trying to figure out where to start, because I really want to lay just the tiniest bit of background for people who may not know who you are, which I'm like, really? You don't? Like, they need to know who you are, Dannion. What happened? What happened to you? How did you get to where you're at? So, little tiny question.
Very easy. 1975, I was struck by lightning. And I always say it like this. One day I never believed any of this stuff. The next day I was dead. And the day after that, I became everything I never believed. Wow. So mine was working from the inside outward. So back to your original question of what you were talking about astrologically, everybody has to remember that we were chosen to come here because the divine has a certain cycle of unfoldment that must happen, and you are the best one to do your part. And then you choose to come here. Okay, so the answer to your question earlier, is it predestined or are we manifesting? Both of those are yes. They're both yes. There is a destiny for unfoldment. Okay, but there's also the probable possibilities of what we are creating and manifesting in our interactions with ourselves, and then how the combination of you and the interaction of yourself moves out into the world based on your intention. So the answer is yes. I discovered that no one's ever going to die. And when they say that you're dead, when they said I was dead for 28 minutes, I was more alive then than I've ever been here. So what people don't really realize is this is the near-death experience. You know, what I had was a near-life experience. I was almost completely alive again. I was aware. I was connected. I was a part of, it was a part of me. I was a part of it. What awaits us in the next round is most importantly what I call the life review. Okay. But this is the 50th year of the near-death experience since Raymond Moody coined the term NDE. So it's its golden anniversary. So I'm doing lectures, like my lecture series this year, Conscious Life is coming up, is the cultural legacy of the near-death experience. What is the cultural legacy? Okay, I've been through struck by lightning twice, open heart surgery, brain surgery, and open heart surgery. And in the last one in 2018, I had to be clinically resuscitated 3 times, okay, over a 4-day period. I never left the room, but I was aware of everything that was going on when they said I was dead. I mean, that word has lost all of its meaning to me. Nobody's ever going to die. It's never going to frickin' happen. Never. Okay? And the thing that's the coolest part about the near-death experience is this. About 95% of everybody who has one of these, they say they were floated out of their body. They looked at their body. Okay. They saw them in the bed, in the car wreck, on the street. But no one's ever really thought about this, Loretta. Who is the observer? If you're looking at your body, tell me who the observer is. Because at that moment, you begin to separate what the near-death experience teaches you, that you are not this body. Okay? Once that near-death experience literally proves that because of the consistency. And the other thing is that we are electrical beings. And when you start to look at the electrical nature of who you are, it seems so far-fetched, but if you understand where science in 1904, there was an element on the periodic table called ether, and they took it out because anything that's going to allow you to affect your spiritual identity, which is the goal, is to stop that, to allow you through your pineal gland and through your what they call the chakra systems to commune with the divine level. That's the goal, to stop. Well, what happens is once you become aware of that and the fact that you're an electrical being, then you gain higher knowledge of what's going on. Okay. And when people say, well, how do you get that? Well, watch. You probably hear 0.04% of what's going on around you because of your hearing capability. You see 0.08% of what's going on around you because of the eyes and the optic nerves' ability to decipher color spectrums and things like that. So what you think you see and know, there's a trillion more things going on around you than you understand. You just don't have the range to perceive it. Well, when you look at yourself electrically and how much electricity is required, your body requires in order for you to be alive, then the physical nature of your reality turns into an ethereal perspective so that you can see who you truly are. Okay. I think that the near-death experience and being a hospice volunteer for 49 years, I've been a hospice volunteer for 49 years. I have my 2018th person. And I've been with 358 taking their last breath. And I've been dead so many times, it's like a freaking comedy routine. So when you look at this subject matter, I don't think I know virtually everything about it and what's next. And I tell everybody, you're not going to die. And every time everybody tells you why you're going to die and the reasons for why you're going to die and where you're going to go, heaven or hell, all that, that stuff is nonsense in the terms that it's cloaked in or packaged in under religion. It has a lot of truth to it, but the way it's told to you, okay, it's nonsense. And people always, Loretta, people say, Dannion, why are you always so happy? I said, well, watch. I didn't die and I didn't go to hell. Okay, so they missed their shot at me. All right, so that's what I'm happy about. You know, we all have to stop and look at where the world is. The world is going crazy. And then why is it going crazy? It's going crazy because a new age was born. And you'd use the Maya, you know, because the Maya were pretty strict about it. They said that this age, which is 25,920 years, and that it began December 21st, 2012. So we'd be in the 14th year of a new age. And then when a new age is born, what the Maya said is all things not done in integrity will collapse. They said this 2,500 years ago would collapse. And what they said about this new age is there would be no secrets. Now, when you think about that applied 2,000 years later, look at where the world is. It's built on falsehood. It's built on debt. It's built on all of those things that can control and manipulate you. It's expensive to live on the earth. Okay. I mean, it's expensive. And then you look at that and you get a chance to see that a new age is being born. And are you growing with it? Are you understanding that everything around you, I'm old, and the world I was born in is gone. There are some semblances of it, but I'm smart enough to know it's gone. And like you said in the intro, I've already seen to 2030. I mean, anybody who's read Saved by the Light knows I wrote down what the beings of light in when I was not near dead, when I was freaking dead. What it says is patient unconscious, patient not breathing, no EKG when they took me to the emergency room. Patient unconscious, patient not breathing, no EKG. Now, what does that tell you? And they covered me with a sheet and pushed me in a room because it was busy that night. Okay, so from there, the transformation in me from there was the reality that about 95% of everything anybody's ever told me religiously was just not true. And the mechanisms for how judgment and sin and all of that stuff comes into play is just not true. Everybody will see their life pass before them in a 360-degree panorama. They will watch it from a second-person point of view as though they were their own best friend. And then they will literally become every person that they've ever encountered, and they will feel the direct results of their interaction between them and that person. And then somewhere in there, you'll ask yourself this question: if God couldn't come today and God had, as you review your life, if God couldn't come today and God had sent you in the life you just reviewed, what difference did you and God make? And when you know that that's what happens when you are dead, not when you're freaking near dead.
Yeah.
Okay. But when you're dead, this is the system. This is it. All that other stuff is people fantasizing or boxing it in, Loretta, boxing it into something that makes sense to them. And they hope when they tell their story, it makes sense to the listener. And then you frame the language that you use in hoping to get them to understand the emotional expression you're trying to say of something that has happened to you that's beyond belief.
Yeah.
It's beyond belief. And so no one could talk about it. Well, here's where I was. And I wrote Say by the Light because I got mad. I watched what Raymond was a PhD in philosophy. They turned on him. He was a doctor, an MD. They turned on him. And he was a forensic psychiatrist. And they turned on him. And I looked and I said, my God, think about all the people out there that's having this because of the advancements in cardiopulmonary resuscitation techniques. More of us are coming back. And when that comes into play, who do they turn to? Who are they going to turn to? I said, so I figured people need to pick on somebody their own size. And I decided it was me. So I wrote Saved by the Light. And I put the boxes of knowledge, which is what the future events are, in there because if they came true, Loretta, it means that there was a life after death. That's what it meant to me. Yeah. And I always used to, when people would say Dannion's predictions, I have never said they were mine. I always said where they came from. Never. It was these beings of light. Well, I always said, if they come true, that means there's a life after death. Well, if they don't come true, then I owed everybody an apology because I was hallucinating. And I banked everything on those things. Because in 1977, after 2 years of learning to walk and feed myself and stumbling, I didn't have a near-death experience and got up the next day. It took years. Crawling, blacking out. Oh, God, it was horrible. And I wore welder's glasses and walked with canes. And when HarperCollins, Random House said, they said, we can't put that in there because there's a couple in there, because here we are 20 years later. They said there's a couple in here that are too close to happening. And if they don't happen, book sales will be bad. I said, well, I said, look, I just laughed because I wrote this down in 1977 when I could sit down and I could write and I didn't pass out or not know where I was. And I wrote these down and we put them in, Paul and I put them in Saved by the Light in 1993. That book was published in 1994. It's been out there. It's never left a 1/8% best-selling books in Amazon's history. I've been there forever. But the point of it is now is there's maybe 8 things left. So as I sit here now, I saw the future, the probable possibilities of what was going to happen if we didn't change our ways. We have not changed. We're still living in a world that doesn't exist. It's an illusion. We owe $38 trillion. If you have a country that is in debt $38 trillion, that means whoever we put in charge of managing it is a failure. And whatever mechanisms that we're using are failures. And you watch young people react to that. And then you look at what's going on, so-called peace in the Middle East. For people who are Christians, they better be very careful. I mean, everybody can go to church on Sunday, but if you look at it and you look at what's happening, the whole issues, then there are revelatory events occurring that there are no escape from. And I've already seen the next two phases. I know what's going to happen. People need to open up their hearts. They need to focus on things that they won't resolve from their hearts. It's not a lot of talking. It's a lot of intention that when you get up today, that there's real peace and we're not deceived. And if I look at the boxes of knowledge, I wrote it all down, Loretta. Exactly what's happening right now is in that book 31 years ago from something that I wrote down 49 years ago. So
yeah.
There's a life after death. Not all that I saw the future. I call that Nostradamus. Well, when people would go there, I know too much about me to be impressed. I don't go there, and I'm a hospice volunteer, so I don't get too far off of what's really matters. And I see what happens to families as they go through the illusion of thinking they're going to lose somebody.
Yeah.
Or they never see them again. This is all craziness. You know that person as well, and you will see them again. Everybody celebrates you coming home. I mean, everybody celebrates you coming home. And the whole point is when you have the life review, you see what the meaning of life was all about.
Yeah.
And I've been through 3 of these. The worst part about it is it doesn't pick up where the last one left off. It starts over exactly all the evil, the kind of person I was to the person I'm trying to be now. And I'm not trying, I'm succeeding at it. But I have to go through that. And it's sad to look at the reasons why I did things. What in the world could I possibly be thinking to have a right to come here and to be a part of the birthing of a new age and a new world, and to not adapt to it and to look at it and to see myself as who I am. I'm not this body. I'm not going to die. And I'm an electrical being. And the very moment you start looking at that you're an electrical being, the divinity in you begins to be the driving force. Because then the ether, what they now quantum calls plasma. Okay. All these things are functioning parts of the reality we live in today. Think of this. How many times a day does your heart beat? 94 to 104,000 times. So 100,000 times a day, what does the body have to do to be able to create a way that the heart can beat? It has to produce roughly 0.45 millivolts of electricity. 100,000 frickin' times a day. That's electrical. Okay, number 2, you have 3 billion or 30 billion cells making up your body. Those cells are talking to each other. How do we know? You can record the conversations. How do they talk? Electrically. What are they talking about? What each cell needs to stay between 70 and 90 millivolts of light. How can we keep the light on? Because when you get below 70, you start to get affected. You get down to 20 and you have a cancerous cell. If you get up around 100, the body's going to heal faster. It's going to have more light. It's going to heal faster. And the purpose of every cell talking to each other's cells are to figure out how to maintain and increase the light between 70 and 90 millivolts. How electrical are you? You are 100% electrical. And so when a person starts to think like that, then their mind opens up to all kinds of possibilities looking at the same subject, Loretta. Looking at the same subject from an electrical point of view. You see a whole different thing, but you also see a side of you that's been hidden from you because they keep telling you you're physical. You're not. And see, in the ethereal world, how do you interpret it? You know, you interpret it in ways that relates to the physical body when that's nonsense. Can you imagine that the Bible says, or Christians say that Jesus has to come back before anybody goes to heaven? Most people don't realize you're going to lie in a state till Jesus returns. That's why you have funerals and coffins and all that, to preserve you so that when Jesus comes back, he's going to raise you all from the dead. And he's going to take that thing that's in that box to heaven. Do you know how crazy that sounds to me? And does that sound crazy to you?
Yes.
That's insane thinking. That's insane. And so what I want people to do is this: you're not going to die, and you are a spiritual being. And if you take a little time in the day and quit whining a bunch of crybabies, and you look at it, this is the time of enlightenment. This is the time to catch the wave of a new level of consciousness expanding. Okay? We know it happens, precession of the equinox. We understand it astrologically and astronomy. Okay? It's not weird. All right? It's not weird. It's a normal, but they create a way that you don't think about yourself in rhythm and harmony with everything else. Think of this. Am I talking too much?
No.
Okay, but I don't know your audience, and I'm just myself, but think of this.
My audience is open to everything you're saying.
I'm just telling the truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
So think of this. You walk on a planet that operates at a called the Schumann resonance, 7.82 hertz. You breathe in and out an electrical atmosphere. You have an atmosphere, a stratosphere, an ionosphere, and 2 subspheres. And if you go and look at weather modification, people say, well, you know, they're modifying the weather by spraying things, and the Saudis have been drenching the desert with rain by cloud seeding, and we've been cloud seeding since the 40s. And you say, well, if you don't believe that there are electrical, that the atmosphere is electrical, anybody can look up any weather modification pattern. Go on the internet, punch up weather modification patterns. There's about 168 of them. Read any one of them and find me one that doesn't describe the atmosphere, stratosphere, and ionosphere as being electrical, and how you manipulated and got a patent on modifying the weather is based on electrical modification. And how do you pay attention to the weather? Doppler radar. You see the little clouds going across it? That's Doppler radar. Okay, well, you can use Doppler to manipulate. If you look at the patents, you can manipulate weather with Doppler radar. If you can see it and you can measure it electrically, you can manipulate it. People say, well, no, I don't believe that's true. Well, maybe not. I said, well, okay, try this one. Look up CRISPR technology. And when you look up CRISPR technology, it tells you that you are nothing but a machine that can be programmed. And I can give you big muscles. I can give you children little feet. I can do anything, and I can take that embryo and I can go to the DNA and I can modify it. Just like any computer software. You're just like any other programmable piece of software to CRISPR. So if CRISPR exists, And it's been shown. It's not in theory. The whole cloning, whole reproduction, all organs, illnesses that you could have based on, all that stuff can be genetically manipulated. How do you genetically manipulate something? Electrically.
You know, I have a question, like I got 80 million questions, but just on this subject alone, you know, we're in an age of AI, right? Progressing, like it's already here, whether we want it here or not. And a lot of people talk about, you know, I mean, there's technology that can be put into the body that will, you know, help your pancreas or make you look young or make you muscular. Do you think that we can put consciousness into silicon bodies like robots? Because a lot of people are talking about that kind of stuff. I think the idea is we want to live forever or something, right?
That was three things, Loretta.
Yes, it was. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I don't have a problem. I'm with you, you know. But see, you know how I am.
My mother says I was born with a big mouth. So sorry about that.
No, it's covering the bases. Let me cover it. Watch.
Okay.
Yes, you are completely programmable. Yes, you are a software system. Yes, it's electrical. Okay. Living forever right now, everybody thinks that. Eternal life, immortality. Why? They're afraid to face themselves if that what's next, it's called death. Well, I know everything about it. I live in it every freaking day. I talk to people, deal with people, visit people, don't even, you know, and I've done this for 49 years. So whatever you want to talk about, first, you're funny. All right. So second, people are looking at how to upload their consciousness. This is the same Atlantean crap. The Atlanteans did this same kind of crap. And it took them 125,000 years to destroy themselves, but they did. So it's the same thing. You want to build robots. You want to build warriors. You want to be able to, you don't want to die, so you want to clone. This is standard alien technology. What is so magnificent about us is that we procreate. We're a clone species. We're modified. It's proven. It exists. I mean, it was in the New York Times in the 90s when they wrote that they found 128 unknown bacteria in the base of the spine. So some system was used to modify us, and it's a fact. Okay, I remember that what was his name? It was so exciting that the guy who wrote the 12 Planets. Oh God.
Are you talking about Zachariah Sitchin?
Yeah, Zachariah.
Yeah. Okay.
Zachariah and I were really good friends.
Yeah.
And he called me one night when it was in the New York Times, and he talked for 2 hours. He was so excited that the whole Anunnaki thing could be proven, and now they'd proven it. So, but the thing that aliens about us is that we have a nature that's divinely connected, and it's aware of. And most of these species don't procreate anymore. They just move consciousness from body to body, because you can build a perfect body for travel, for dimensional shifting, for all the things that are normally you have to have a suit, you have all this stuff for. If you move consciousness into the next clone body, and then you forget about intimacy and romance and all the things that make us good and evil.
Yeah.
And in that place is a divine perspective that they're trying to recapture. They're trying to recapture. So that's why the whole concept of why they even care about us and all that kind of stuff. You know, we are divine. When you come into this dimension, remember, you were chosen because there is nobody better than you. The worst of us is the best there is at something. And then you chose to come because you see opportunities for you to grow. And in that balance creates the harmony of how we unfold reality in this system. But this system anchors a whole nother levels of consciousness that I never talk about, but I know about them. You know, I don't talk, Loretta, I talk too much anyway, but I don't talk about the stuff I know. You know, I just don't, because first I would be influencing millions of people because of how many books and my audience, you know, it's in the tens of millions of people.
Yes.
And I don't want to influence them. I want to be supportive of their search and understanding how beautiful they are. And that I would not tell them they were the greatest things ever if it wasn't the truth. You know, I don't why. If I'm going to be every person I've ever encountered, and I'm going to feel the direct results of my interaction between me and that person,
yeah,
you think I'm going to lie to you?
Right.
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 Something seriously wrong. There's something seriously wrong with one of us. Okay.
Well, you know, and when you talk about the life review, like if everybody on the planet just got one little taste of that life review, I think it would go a long ways toward changing where we're at.
It's going to happen, though.
Yes.
That's it. Yes. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. When you were, I want to go back and pick up one piece because I want to bring it into now time, and we got to go back to bring it into now time, right? In your book, and I do recommend people just go get Dannion's books, and if you can go to the Whole Life Expo in February, you should just go get tickets and just go, right? Really have a great experience. But in your books, you talk about the Crystal City and the boxes of knowledge, and you alluded to the fact that these beings gave you this information, you documented it, you put it in your book. And as time has gone by, a lot of those things have actually occurred. Where are we at right now, Dannion? And, you know, I'm looking for, I'm just going to let you answer that because I want an authentic question, but also somewhere in there, like, how do we navigate this currently? What advice can you give us? Yeah. So where are we at in that? I know it's probably 10 questions.
What's World War?
Yeah.
It's right at World War. Okay, what the box of knowledge says is you watch what's happening in Israel, Samaria, Canaanite, and Judea, which is what the names of those countries are.
Yeah.
If you watch what's happening there and you look at Revelations, then you are, for all of you revelatory people, you are there. You're probably in the third year of that 7-year period.
Yeah, I think the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Yep.
And where we are now, if you look at the panoramic life review, it's not what you do, it's why you do it. And changing your intentions. Okay, because the intention of why you do anything is the power based on the panoramic life review. Okay, why am I doing this? What is the reason? Does it make the world a better place? Is it love thyself as love thy neighbor as thyself, and doing to others as you would have others do unto you? Well, until you define why and how you love yourself, none of those systems will operate in the Christ consciousness. It won't operate. You cannot access those levels of law without doing that. I mean, the panoramic life review is the greatest lesson. It is the greatest teacher of the near-death experience. It is it. Because once you look at it from the way I've had to look at it, so we're being the same. We're not changing. The world is divided into three. The worlds are going to be divided into three places: the Monroe Doctrine, Manifest Destiny, the Western consciousness, North and South and Central America. Russia will get Europe, and China will take over Asia. And that's happening today. Once Greenland is in place, then it's the Chinese are moving into Canada, and then Canada, there's no way that China is going to be able to establish what they've already done in Canada and get away with it. Okay, then you bring the Commonwealth into it. And then you bring the NATO alliance into it. Then you bring the World Health Organization into it. And then you bring the United Nations into it. Okay, and then you look at the United Nations and you look at Basel III of the central banks. And right now, we sit at the very precipice of collapse. I don't know why I find that so exciting, but but to have lived to see this, to be a part of this, and to participate in what comes out of this, and to have the privilege of being able to affect and to talk to people about why are you thinking that? How can you think that could be real or true? Okay. And what happens? So we sit at the precipice of either changing or being forced to change. Right. And the only way you can cover the enormous amounts of debt that we have incurred, America and the rest of the world, is a war. And you use a war to forget yesterday and divide the world up. And this is the taunt, quote unquote, is coming again. And that's what's happening. So what do you do about it? You learn the art of prayer. See, when you come here and the root course of power is defined under desire, the definition of the word desire. You look up the word desire. It frames reality. What you desire, okay? That's how reality is framed. And then it has a structure of 4 rules. And the questions are, what is the value and power of your love? What's the value and power of your love? 1. What's the value and power of your belief system as it supports, number 1, the value of your love? Number 3, what's the value and power of the choices that you are making based on that you believe they are the correct ones? 4, what's the value and power of your ability to pray? When you can answer those 4 questions, you automatically elevate, you automatically expand. Because the value of this reality is those 4 things. There are no other things based on how desire works. You know, if you understand desire, there are subsets in there, but these are the 4 bases of desire. Okay? There's only 2 things that you are afraid of. Only 2. You're not afraid of anything else. And everything else would be centered on these 2 things: helplessness and loneliness. You're helpless when you come, you're helpless when you leave. When are you lonely? It's based on what you think other people think about the person that you've created to get and hope that they believe that is really you. And because it's all artificial of what you're hoping they're going to like, see, believe, do, or whatever it is, then as it doesn't work, the identity of yourself separates you. And then loneliness sets in. That's pretty amazing, Loretta. That's some pretty amazing stuff. And it comes from who I am, but also comes from 2,017 people watching them leave this world. It isn't Swami Dannion, you know, it's somebody who's been right there watching it, asking the questions, listening to the answers. You know, I understand the mechanisms, what happens, what grief and bereavement is. I understand them. I understand what triggers them. I've studied this for 50 freaking years. And please, everybody, come to the Conscious Life Expo, because right now, if you've never been to one, if you've never been to one, this is the time to come, because it's amazing what your mind and your heart opens up to when you're there. And yes, there's some really crazy people there, okay? All right? But there's also brilliance beyond belief, and so many. I just love to do these shows with Robert. I mean, I enjoy everybody, and I've seen people for years because I've done them for 24 years. I've done them with him, and I see people, and you create a family. You know, I want everybody to come and join the family. And I'm funny. I maybe not be funny right now, but basically I'm really funny. But I feel like it's a place to put a warehouse of knowledge that people can build off of. Everything I just said is in Secrets of the Light. The Fourfold Path to Power is what I call it. It's in Secrets of the Light. And I wrote that book for caregivers. I wrote it for caregivers, understanding what was going to happen once the pandemic. I described the pandemic in detail in 1977, and there'll be another one. They're just warming us up.
So I want to let people know that the Conscious Life Expo is February 20 through 23. I was trying to say 23 and was trying to say 23rd at the same time. February 20 through 23 in LA. And
at the Hilton Hotel at the airport.
Yeah, at the Hilton Hotel at the airport. Yes, thank you. You can get tickets at consciouslifeexpo.com. You can find Dannion at dannion.com, I think is your website.
Yeah. Or light streamers. I mean, if somebody's looking for the history of Dannion, I mean, light streamers, Mel does all of that, and you can go there, and on Mel's little page, you know, I try not to be too big a shot, but there's some cool stuff about me. And then the foundation, the Twilight Brigade has now grown into the Dannion, the foundation, and I create programs. I mean, I create programs at the Dannion.com is the foundation. So if you're interested in helping or supporting the foundation or being a part of it, go there. You know, all I'm doing is fulfilling the vision. And if anybody's wondering, I'm in box 13, chapter 5, Saved by the Light, box 13. If you want to see what's going on in Egypt, read box 4. Box 4, you'll see exactly what it's caused by, how it's caused, and what's going to happen. And this thing that Jared is pushing, this peace initiative, all you wait for in that is to see who the police force is. I wrote it all out. It's all written right there. Right. There's nowhere to go. Here's what'll happen. Here's why it'll happen. And here's what's happening. And you go and look and see, and yes, it's happening just for that. Okay, it's just for that. All right. But to anybody to think that nobody knew what was going to happen on October the 7th in Israel when that attack happened, for somebody to even think for a moment that we didn't know and they didn't know, that's insane. Yeah. There is no way we didn't know. We may have not known because of who we had in the presidency and all of that. But to think that the Israelis did not know, and they hadn't had the information, and they hadn't had it from their sources that it was going to happen, that's insane. Yeah. And I might sound anti-Semitic, but I don't really care. Yeah. I'm grown. Yeah. So we live in exciting times, Loretta.
Yeah,
Every one of us was chosen to be here, and people said, well, what am I supposed to do? Wait a minute. What is the value and power of your love? I mean, what difference can you make? What's the value and power of your belief system? And how much of that do you believe in you? And then you have a place to compare how much the divine must believe in you. If the rules I said you came here was nobody was better than you to fulfill the divine mission that only the divine knows, nobody was better than you. That's how you get here, and you choose to come. That's how you get here. Now, some people have those choices made for them. It's always like you got some kind of choice about it, you know. If God's in your face, it's like, what you going to do? If Jesus puts his hand on your chest and says, Loretta, you got to go back, what are you going to do? You going to argue?
No, I went back. I came back.
Yeah, and then you're going to argue?
Yeah.
No, you're not argue with that.
No, I'm not. We're at the end of our time. Dannion, from my heart to yours, so much love. Thank you for coming back and being here and giving us all this information. To everybody listening, please just go reach out, get Dannion's books, take a look, go to the expo, and let's do this differently. I mean, we are where we're at, so let's be there for each other.
Look at the reason why you do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Look at your patterns in a day, and then study prayer.
Yes.
Look up books on prayer, and look up articles written about prayer. Because if you know the fourfold path, which is the one that's the most elusive, non-local healing, or the power of prayer, the power of everybody calls it manifestation and all of that. Well, don't be dumb, everybody. The power of prayer and understanding those mechanisms is the way you energetically and electrically connect to the divine. And that's what we all need.
Yeah, we do. So thank you so much, Dannion. So much love to everybody. Betty Mathers, you're the best. And
yeah, bless you, Benny.
Yeah.
And Happy New Year, everybody. See you at the Conscious Life.
That's right. Thank you.